Freedom Fighters, I'm back with another one. Today's episode is going to be What Have We Conserved? I mean, we watch our freedoms and our rights dwindle away day by day. Our country and our culture is changing. I mean, do you go to a church that flies a rainbow flag outside? Look at the positions the Pope has been taking recently, and I'm sure you're probably seeing it in your churches. Um, Things are changing, and we call ourselves conservatives. Well, I don't know if you do, but I have referred to myself as that in the past. But I think back on this Kid Rock interview that he did with Tucker, and he said, have you always been like a conservative, or do you consider yourself that? And he's like, well, no, I don't consider myself that, because that reminds me of like the kids back in the days that were like nerds and geeks. They were like in the, suit and tie Republicans sort of thing. The country club Republicans. And I call those people conservatives. And that's pretty much what this movement has become. And, we're led by people like Charlie Kirk, which I call Charlie Cook. And, the people he hangs out with, I forget that guy that he's always with, that just got into a confrontation with some Fuentes supporters. But then, you look at a lot of our conservative leaders like David Rubin, who's a gay guy who just, adopted a child and all that. And this is your, leading conservative movement. And like I said before, there's definitely a civil war within our own community of what it means to be conservative, Republican, whatever you want to label it, right wing. And, during the McCarthy ouster, McCarthy was attacking Gates and said, well, he's not a real conservative. I'm more conservative than he is. And it's like, bro, you're a California liberal. You have no backbone. You've already proven yourself to be a coward. So we're just going to talk about that. And, one of the main things I always hear is, it's the economy, stupid. How many times have you heard that? And when someone says that, it's usually, you can automatically assume they're a conservative, right? It's usually a conservative talking point. I don't agree with that, but, it's like as all that forms your country and culture is an economy. So, like, are you telling me if they stripped you of your First and Second Amendment right, like, hey, you can't speak out, you're just a slave and don't dare defend yourself and you don't have any freedoms or rights, but hey, the economy's great. That's all that matters, and that's all that makes the country. And I remember watching this interview with Doug Bergrum. And if you don't know who that is, well, nobody does, but he was one of the guys polling at 1% running for president. And he was doing this interview, and he was like, we need a Republican candidate that knows how to sell energy to our allies, but not buy from our adversaries. And, we're going to create jobs and all that and build up the economy, which, it's not a bad comment. I don't disagree with the sentiment of the, the argument or whatnot, but, we have bigger issues at hand. We're on the brink of a civil war. We've got warring factions of who knows what coming across the border. It's going to spill out into the streets of America, and we're going to look like Juarez here pretty soon. So yeah, just having a good economy doesn't cut it. And that's what you hear all the time on the late night shows. People are going to vote on pocketbook issues, and we have to tell them that, we've got the jobs, and the conservative way is how to make money, and we lower taxes. And, back to the country club Republicans, the suit and tie Republicans, they're not like you and me. They're not, your buddies you hang out with in the woods, or the guys at the bar that you talk to. These people have a whole completely different agenda than the guys on the streets. And they don't give a damn about your country and your culture and preserving and conserving, the way of life. To them, as long as the economy's good, that's it. So other, issues we're losing on. Feminism has taken over this country. That's clear as, the courts and all that. But abortion, we are losing big on abortion because the younger generation, especially of modern Western women, you can't win them over on this issue. And there was a special election in Ohio just a while back, which is a red state, and it's not one of these ones that are tilting, blue, going purple or whatnot. I mean, it's a pretty straight up red state, and women overwhelmingly came out to vote in favor of abortion. And that night, I remember Hannity came on TV and said, look, I have my own beliefs, but politically, this is a dead issue. You know, case settled. It's over with. There's no winning on this issue because you failed to conserve, our values and our cultures. And the reason it's a dead issue is because your daughter is a Swiftie. Your daughter is a Cyrus. Your daughter is a hellspawn. She's a molly poppin', partying, clubbing, twerking, filthy, degenerate product of the West. Not a conservative or a Republican or whatever you want to label it. The last thing on her mind is her country and culture and how she's going to raise a family. But believe me, it's on your son's minds. And Wrangle Star has done, some videos on this, and plenty of other channels. I was just talking about Hammerhand and Undead Chronic. And Wrangle Star has talked many times about his sons and, their feelings of trying to find modern Western women in the dating market. And these people don't share the same values. And, man, talking about Swiftie, man, I'm so tired of hearing all about that. And I called it such a long time ago. She's a psyop. They're running a psyop. And it's clear as day. And all they do about is talk about her 24/7. And she's pretty much running, for president. She's going to be campaigning and all that. And who didn't see this coming? I mean, they talk about it. It's not even about football anymore. Like, I was watching a cooking show one day, and they were making barbecue. And they were like, oh, yeah, this is Texas-style barbecue, and, this is, like, Southern, style barbecue. And then this is KC barbecue. And as soon as they brought up Kansas City, they're like, oh, well, maybe Taylor Swift likes this kind of barbecue, and, we should get Travis Kelce to try it out and everything. And it's like, that's all they talk about. And it's clear what's coming with that. But, yeah, I mean, as far as conservatives conserving anything, it's like, what have we conserved? Then your Second Amendment rights, that dwindles every single day. We used to live in a country, your fathers and your grandfathers for sure used to go to school with guns in the back of their pickup trucks. The Duck Dynasty Phil said that he used to go to school, put his rifle in his locker, and go squirrel hunting with his teacher after school, or his football coach. I forget who it was. But, that's how they lived. And look how times have changed. You can't even go in. Now schools are unconstitutional gun-free zones. And, they'll give you a felony and strip your rights forever if you're caught in there with a firearm. So again, everything is changing. Your rights, your culture, it's all gone. And we're still calling ourselves conservatives. And I mean, this really falls on the boomer class. These people, on TV who are fighting, and people who are leading us with gray hair and long gray beards, calling themselves conservatives, what have you conserved? And all they ever talk about is, but it's the economy, stupid, and, my 401k is great, and my retirement's doing wonderful. And so here we go. It's turned into a boomer rant. But, I mean, that's what it is. And then, There was the late great one, as they called him. And I don't want to talk too bad about him because I heard from a wise man once. You don't talk bad about the dead because for the same reason you don't talk behind someone's back, because they don't have the ability to refute what you're saying or debate. But I remember when he passed, they were like, he's the greatest conservative of all time, and without him we wouldn't have conserved anything. And it's like, but what have we conserved? And I mean, that's the question of this video, is literally, what have we conserved? I mean, I did a video a while back called The Lunatics Run the Asylum. And it's like, literally, man, the freak show runs the asylum. I mean, look at the people leading the military. You got Pete Buttigieg, a head of transportation secretary. You got the transformer leading the health department or whatever. I forget what it is. Talking about, transforming the children is part of health care and all this stuff. Sure looks like we conserved a whole bunch, haven't we? But yeah. And then I remember watching a Freedom Inc. episode too, where he was saying, the old saying of where, if war must come, let it come in my time so my children know peace. It's like, for the first time ever, the boomers are the first generation ever to just like sail off into the sunset with their retirement and go, let my grandchildren fight the Civil War. Let them deal with it. Meanwhile, we're just going to continue to live high off the hog and, have our retirements in the country that we've benefited off of. But, man, my children sure have one hell of a time coming for them. They're going to be fighting in the streets and starving and bleeding and dying off and all kinds of shit, which will be a whole nother video. But, yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. Have we conserved anything? How do we go forward in conserving, the rest of, I guess, the last bit of this country? But, you know what I say, till the next one, we are on our own. No one's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only He can save you. Freedom Fighters out.